What is up, folks? Briston Gaming back with another episode of 7 Days to Die Mods Weekly, the show where I help you figure out what mods are good for you. And this week, as you can see here, we have a whole bunch of mods from the same person and a few that aren't. But before we jump into anything, I want to take a second to say thank you to everybody who has liked or subscribed on the content. And I also want to say thank you to all the cool mod authors who have made this show possible, because without you guys, I couldn't do this. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into our first mod, and as you see, our first mod is called the Z2 HUD Replacement by Cerulean, and this is just a super neat, super cool mod. Now, I love the layout of this. I first showed this off last week when I did the Spencer Mansion incident at the end of the last episode. I didn't realize I had added this in through the mod launcher. I don't know how I did it. I guess I just accidentally clicked it and didn't notice, but it's super neat. Like, I loved it then. I gushed about it. I've played with it a whole bunch since last week just to see what it looks like and how it works. It is super cool. It is a really neat mod. Like, I love the compass look. I love the degrees. So, like, it's easy to kind of say to somebody, you know, where you're at in relation to them. But also, check out what happens down here. See how it showed the experience? See how that little dot climbs up? I love that. Like, when I'm out and about doing stuff and it climbs up like that, I love the way that that looks. I'm gonna go ahead and drop those things because I don't need them. But this is a super neat mod. Like, I love the placement of the food and the water because it's not, you know, it's not where it was before, especially like with the Riles HUD. Now, the Riles HUD is still a good HUD. I still enjoy it a great deal. But since I've, you know, played around with this a lot more, I like this more. I'm gonna call this one like a professional style HUD just because of how it looks. Whereas the Riles HUD is still really fun and still really good to use. I think I've fallen a little bit in love with this HUD. Now, this is also really neat too. I like how Cerulean has done this and made this look. Now, it looks pretty much the same as before, but it's just got slightly different coloration around it. Just the way that they look is just a little different. But Riles also, or I'm sorry, Cerulean also calls this the HUD killer. So any other overhaul that you're using and you add this to it, this is going to replace the HUD. So like if you're doing Warzucks and you don't like the HUD in there, you use this. This is going to replace it. If you're doing Deadfall or Darkness Falls, I said Deadfall because that's the server I used to play on. Darkness Falls, anything like that, this HUD's going to replace it. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this with Darkness Falls just because how the tool belt and stuff with Darkness Falls is. This could cause some issues. There might be some compatibility stuff, but this is still just a super good HUD. I really do like this HUD. I recommend it if you guys like the kind of crisp professional look to it. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next mod. Alright folks, as you can see here, our next mod is called Harry's New Calibers, and this thing is insane. It adds 63 new ammo types. It adds 13 shotgun, 35 rifle, 14 pistol, and one weird little random lead ball thing. Now the different stuff is super cool because the different pistol stuff, you're just going to loot randomly. Like you've got a 500 Smith & Wesson, you've got 357 Magnum, you've got a 380 ACP, 40 Smith & Wesson. The rifle stuff, you've got a 6.5 by 50. You've got a 7.5 44. Like you've got 30-40. You've got 30-06 in here somewhere. 30-30. Like there's just so much different stuff. 4.58 SOCOM. Like there's a ton of stuff that it adds to it. You've got different shotguns, Dragon's Breath. Like it adds a bunch in. And if I come here and I go into the creative menu and I type in pistol, look at all these different types of pistols. Now these I've showcased off as part of the Wasteland mod, but this here got a 9mm Luger. I got a 17 HMR, whatever that is. I got a 22, 30 Luger, 10mm auto. But if I type in Desert Eagle, got a 44 Remington. Don't know what the Desert Eagle Master is, but I've got a 50 Action Express and a 357 Magnum. Like it adds just a ton of different customization to how you play and the different weapons you're going to find. Customization is not the right word. I mean variety. It adds a ton of variety because like the whole point of adding mods is to spice up how you play and the different things that you do. Well, this really super spices it up because as you heard, 63 different ammo types. That's a lot. And the different stuff that you add means that you're going to have different stuff to loot. So you're not going to get the same stale stuff constantly. You're not going to find the same 9mm pistol all the time. You're going to find different stuff, which can help spice up. Like I know for me personally, spicing up stuff like this by looting these different things is really cool, because I get to see all the neat different stuff as I'm out and about. Now, it does cause you to take up a heck of a lot more room in your inventory, but you still get to see a lot of really cool stuff as you're out looting. You get a the endorphin flow from looting different stuff is what I was trying to think to say. It's a super neat mod, and there's a lot of different mods that can work with this to add even more variety to the game. But with that, we're going to go ahead and jump over to our next mod. Alright folks, as you can see here, our next mod is called Harry's New Junk Turrets, and this works with the last mod in that it takes some of those ammo types and makes them into junk turrets. Like you've got this 45 ACP junk turret, you've got a 30 carbine junk turret, 22 Remington junk turret, or I'm sorry, a 223 Remington, a 30-30 junk turret, a 308, a 22 short or long, and then you've got a 30 Luger. And these actually do some pretty decent damage. Like I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spawn in a wolf. Look at how much damage that did to it. That was pretty good. Like I'm going to spawn in another one. That one's not doing quite as much, but like they're all really good turrets. Like they're pretty good to have, and they'll do a pretty good job. Now, they're not firing as fast as a normal junk turret, of course, but you can still also find the normal junk turrets in the game. But look at that. That did some pretty decent damage. And these also actually have a longer range than the normal junk turrets. It's not quite as accurate, but watch. If I come out here, I'm going to spawn in a wolf here, and I'm going to come back this way. Now look, it's actually shooting at that wolf. Now it might not be doing a whole heck of a lot of damage, but they're actually shooting at it. So it's actually got longer range, like I said, than most of the other junk turrets in the game, like than all the vanillas. And the cool thing is like you saw, not every one of them is shooting at the wolf. Like this one's not. This one does. This one's not. That one's not. But if we run it here to where the wolf is, like you can actually see it hasn't taken any damage because they're not accurate. But if you have a couple of these while you're out doing stuff, or you set these up at a base like this to, maybe guard a come on, get oh, it's out of ammo. Okay. But as you see, like if you put these at a base to help, guard a certain area, you're not going to have the super rapid fire rate as the new ones or as the old ones, but you're going to have a little bit better damage, some more stopping power, and a longer range on some of these. So I'll just go ahead and pick all these up and show you. Like you can see magazine size, stuff like that, like how fast they fire. So you've actually got pretty decent options here for different stuff. And I'm actually going to spawn in 3 wolves and look at that thing go. It's not doing a whole heck of a lot of damage, but it's not bad. Like 10 damage per shot. It messed them up pretty good. So I mean, you've got options here for some of these. Like they're either going to be nice sniping turrets to set up, or they're going to be, like this one was, just, shoot a whole bunch and hopefully kill zombies really quickly. And if you're one of those ones like me, where I did the little short series where I was clearing out a horde with melee and turrets, this works really good with that too, because you can just throw this down, run around, and watch as these help you destroy a horde, because you can have a bunch of them scattered around and then just run by, or just stand there, let them shoot for a bit while you recover stamina or heal or what have you. But with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next mod. Alright folks, as you can see here, our next mod is called the Harry's New Auto Turrets, and this mod is insane too, because it adds 70 new turrets to the game. Now, really what it does is it adds 35 kind of Mark 1 or basic versions, and then it adds another 35 Mark 2 versions. The Mark 2 versions do a lot more than what the Mark 1s do, just how kind of everything works. It's always an upgrade. You've got the different, like, now these aren't exactly the same ones, but they're super great at what they do. Now the Mark 2s are really cool. Yeah, here we go. So this is the Mark 2 version of this one. See? The Mark 2s require a lot more power. They hold a lot more ammo, or they hold a lot more ammo. They also have higher hit points and stuff. They do a lot more. Now I've got some set up in our little shooting range practice area. I don't have all of them because 70 turrets to set up is a whole hell of a lot, and I don't want to spoil the surprise for a lot of people. So what we're gonna do instead is I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna turn on the generator. Now, not all of these turrets are probably gonna turn on just because of the power requirements, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna spawn in a wolf. Look at how fast. You saw how fast that thing destroyed that wolf? Make sure the rest of these aren't turned on and interacting. And then we're going to spawn in another wolf just to see. Come on. There you go. So that one didn't quite destroy it as fast as maybe it had some extra help. But now what we're going to do, we're going to spawn in another one. And we're going to lock this ammo. Look at how fast that thing did, the Mark II versus the Mark I. You saw how fast that was, right? How much damage that did? I'm not going to do it again, but like I was saying, it's insane. The Mark IIs are so much better. But it's really cool how this adds them in because it gives you a lot of variety. Okay, so that one doesn't have power. Let's see, do you? You don't have power. That one does. So this one has power. I'm gonna have to jigger the power here. It's pretty decent. Pretty decent damage. Now let's see about getting some power on this one. So like I was saying, the Mark IIs require a lot of power. Wow, 2 shots. That's all it took from that. Let's spawn in something with a little bit more HP. So we're gonna come here. We're gonna do let's say janitor Pharaoh. Damn, that thing just absolutely shredded it. Now just imagine having that set up at a base where you've got the proper traps, proper turrets and everything. You've got a couple of these set up and a horde's coming in. That's just going to shred it for you. And now I personally like doing the horde stuff, you know, a lot of melee, shooting some guns, being out and about, running around doing stuff. But there is something to be said about having a good proper horde base set up with traps and stuff like that and turrets and stuff, because it makes it so much easier on you, because sometimes real life happens. You might not want to pause the game or exit or something, or you might be on a server and might not have that chance. So you set up some stuff like that. If they've got this stuff involved, or you've got friends that you're playing with like this, you have to go do something. You don't want to close the server down for them. Set this up. Let the turrets just destroy crap while you're away. That's why I like it. I like setting up like that's what this is for. I showed this off a couple videos ago. This is just a super neat base. It's just got a bunch of turrets and stuff set up in it just to test stuff out. It's really cool. That's why I like this. That's why I like the Almonds turret mod that I showed a few weeks ago. All of these work together, and Almonds works really well with the Harry's new calibers, so just like a bunch of other mods do, to add in just even more variety for how you build a trap base. But with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and move on to the last mod. Alright folks, as you can see here, our last mod is called Sam's Special Ammo, and it's also our only XML or server-side mod of the list. Saved it for last because it's super neat to me, and I love XML. As everybody knows, I love XML mods. They're just the best. So this mod is super cool because what it does is it adds in a shot grenade, a concussion grenade, a shock arrow, shock bolt, and a heavy snowball. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those because those are junk. Now the super cool thing is the arrows, the actual shock arrows, you can't use with a primitive bow. So if I come here and I go to load them, I can only use exploding, flaming, steel, iron, or stone. So if you want to use the shock, you have to have at least the wooden bow. Kind of a neat little progression, at least I think it is. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to spawn in a janitor radiated. And I'm going to shoot this dude. Let me try that one more again. I'm going to shoot this dude with an arrow. Now look, it shocks him, knocks him down. Does a decent bit of tick as it goes with the damage. Like you saw how much it ticked down. Like, pretty nice. And the reason I like these is just like with the last week where I showed off the shock ammo. This is really good for a group of zombies where, like, if you've got, we've got him there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spawn in just I don't want to spawn in some Arlene radiateds or anything like that. But we'll just throw out some Joes. Okay, try that again. I'm really just bad at aiming. Now, if you've got a group coming at you and you just sit here and you do this, you can give yourself some breathing room. Now, I don't have them chasing me because I've got the AI turned off because I can, but it's just really cool. And also, they're just kind of for testing. But also, the shot grenade does kind of the same thing. Pull the pin, you throw it, watch what it does when it pops. It does some damage, shocks them. Oop, I forgot to pull the pin. There we go. So it's going to pop. It's going to shock them. Didn't do a whole heck of a lot of damage, but now more of them got shot. And that one got killed by the residual damage. And then we've got the concussion grenade here. Pull the pin, throw it, and it's going to knock them down. It's going to do just... Okay, I might have thrown that too far. There we go. So it's going to knock them down. See? Staggers them. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it does stagger them, which is good, again, for a group. If you've got some people chasing you and you've got one of these, pop it, throw it, and just run, and it'll help knock them down, stagger them. See? Give you some room. Didn't do a whole lot of damage. Staggered them decent bit, which is what you want out of something like this. And the heavy snowball is just kind of fun when you're playing around. See? It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it knocked him down. See? Knocked him down. Ah, I missed. Come on, see? So this is also a little fun little thing to do, and it's got, as it says, you'll have someone's eye out with that. They say that it's got a rock in it to help knock them down. So it's not a good weapon to use really for anything unless you just, being chased by a bunch of zombies and you just want to knock them down to give yourself some breathing room, because you can... Well, I mean, you actually have to put some heat into the throw. I have to hold the button down a bit. But it gives you a chance to run away, get some breathing room. All of these are just really good about giving you breathing room, because you can just... Well, if I can actually hold the button down long enough to hit the guy, give yourself some breathing room to be able to run away and do stuff. But with that, folks, we are done for the week. Make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Have fun. Take it easy. We'll see you next time.